Andrew Tate's legal problems just got a lot worse. He got sued. Yes, he did. His ex-girlfriend claims that he assaulted her at the Beverly Hills hotel earlier this month, March 11th, 2025, and I have a story to tell y'all about it. According to the lawsuit, the assault incident was the worst of a series of gradually escalating violent and abusive acts. But after investigating this case, I can tell you I have a lot more questions than answers. Very, very, very curious indeed. You're probably not going to believe what I found about any of the parties involved. You're going to see.
Innocent until proven guilty in a democracy. We have never been convicted of any crime anywhere on the planet ever.
Please do not send any hate or honestly comments of any kind to anyone mentioned in this video on behalf of me or yourself. The purpose of this video is to give my commentary and opinion on matters of public concern. Thank you. I think it's probably best if I just recap the lawsuit, because I get into these stories, I think everybody knows about it, and turns out people are like, wait, the Lyft driver's family?
Then I got to the bridge and I
the
realized...
The Lyft driver's family was there?
No. My husband's whole family was there.
Yeah, okay. So the allegations of this lawsuit all kind of start with this content trip. She claims that she first met Andrew Tate this past summer in June 2024, so less than a year ago, and she claims she met him in Romania. Why was she in Romania? She was in Romania because she was doing a content trip, as it is described in the lawsuit. I mean, I'm a social media full-timer, and I don't go on no content, nothing I call it content. I'm going on the content trip, but that's just a content trip. I don't know what a content shoot means. And so she's a model. Bree is a model, the plaintiff, and she alleges she first met Andrew Tate this summer whenever she had basically got cast for a modeling job, and it was a job for the Tate brothers, as you will learn. At that time, the Tate brothers were not allowed to leave Romania. They were not on house arrest, but they weren't allowed to leave the country of Romania. And Tristan had contacted a, quote, mutual friend of plaintiffs requesting, quote, blonde models for a content shoot in Romania. Okay, so this friend, who's this mutual friend? I mean, that's my first question. Who's the mutual friend? Because it's the same mutual friend later eventually she does get on a plane with and goes to Romania with. So I mean, just keep that, that's an open question. Ting one, or who's a mutual friend. So that's how she meets Tristan Tate, who's the brother of Andrew Tate. She meets him through this mutual friend. Okay, so she said she didn't want to do the content shoot. She declined because it was unpaid. But then it just so happened she ended up going, and it's because she was in a lot of trouble. According to the lawsuit and public records, earlier that same month, Bree's, quote, management had launched a so-called meme coin crypto token in her name, and she says it was without her knowledge or consent. Then they orchestrated a rug pull, according to this lawsuit. And Bree, had basically accidentally scammed her fans, pretty much. And so she needed help. And she had somehow acquired a so-called crypto mentor at the time. What is that? I don't know. But this crypto mentor was teaching her all there was to know about crypto. So this crypto mentor, he ends up finding out somehow that Bree got invited to the Tate brothers party. And he's like, oh, you should definitely go do it. And she's like, no, I'm not going. It's not paid. And he's like, no, you should go because you know what? They have one of the biggest crypto coins of all time. And it just so happened that the content shoot was for the $ daddy all caps crypto token coin he was launching. So she was actually being hired to be a model for the crypto token coin thing. It was unpaid. So she messages Tristan Tate back and says, hey, actually, I would be interested in coming if you and your brother could help me with my failing crypto coin. Help me save it. $ all cap sister. And allegedly Tristan says, yeah, we'll help you out. And so that's what makes her finally agree to come to the content shoot.
It's not just the networking aspect of it. It's what you're doing in your spare time. What are you learning? What can you possibly offer people? Because if you don't have something really unique and special to offer the people who you're trying to meet, you're just going to come across as someone who's pestering. And being pestered is very annoying in the face.
So she goes to the content shoot. She arrives there. She says she flew to Romania that same day. She agreed to go and flew that same day. So I don't know if maybe there was already tickets. I don't know if she was going back and forth. I don't know. Just think that's all it says right there. So she gets there to Romania for the content trip, and there's like 10 other, quote, models there from LA, Miami, Europe, and Canada. All these models get picked up from the airport and driven to a luxury hotel by like a driver. All the models are in a group chat with Tristan Tate, and they're scheduled to ride together in a Sprinter van to a villa in Transylvania. but it's 3 hours away. So all these girls are about to get, like, it's a field trip. They're going to get from the luxury hotel into the Sprinter van, like the 15 passenger van. They're going to go for 3 hours or so to a villa in Transylvania to do the content shoot. Now, if you're still wondering what the content shoot is, just hold off. There's a video, I think it's supposed to be, but it's like, it does raise some questions. They're all at the hotel. Tristan Tate is apparently doing the coordinating the group chat, and he's like, all right, girls, everybody get ready to go in the van except Bree. Bree, you have a special assignment. He says it in front of all the other, and it's so weird. I've said this before. They all call them girls. Girls. It's women. You know what I mean? Like, by virtue of, like, it's not girls. Like, I say girl, please, or whatever, but it's just like, in this context, there's something weird about it. Anyway, so Bree's special assignment is to ride with Andrew Tate in his car for the 3-hour trip, or, almost 3 hours, which she does do. And there are Instagram stories of this on her highlights. And you can see her in the car with Andrew Tate in the end of June 2024 last year. So they do the content shoot. They do a promo video. So this is where you'll see the content shoot video here. Bree is featured prominently here right next to Andrew Tate. But what I find to be very interesting is, remember earlier whenever she had responded to something for an ad about blonde models? She is like the only one or one of 2 blonde models in the whole thing. Like, it's all brunette models. So I'm like,
well, maybe it's because they already had all these brunettes and idiots and blondes.
That's probably what it was. I bet you that's what it was. Like, we need some blondes. But it's interesting because she is with him in the video as, like, the girlfriend prop or whatever. Yeah. But then at the end, he walks out of they're like having like a gambling game, and they're betting with his meme token or whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. It's very Romanian, like, whatever. It's cute, whatever. I don't care. I'm not mad at the commercial or whatever, but, like, they all leave out. Like, his brother put the money in the bag. They leave out. Bree stays inside. She don't leave. He left her there. And he walks out with all the other girls that he wasn't paying attention to when he got there. Because that happens. Look, roll the clip, roll the tapes. But according to the lawsuit, it was on this content trip that Bree and Andrew had their first intimate encounter of sorts. Once this Transylvania villa photo shoot ended, that's when Andrew Tate arranges for a hotel near his home, because they had to drive far to get into the middle of nowhere, Transylvania, for this. I don't know what they were doing over there at that villa. This content shoot. But he arranges for Bree to stay in a hotel close to his home for the next day or 2 that she's going to be in Romania, and then she's going back. So they do stay together. They have relations. Whatever else happens, there's pictures of her in Romania from around this time. There's definitely those videos. So also around this time, Bree publicly thanked Andrew for his help with her sister coin. She called him like a real man for his help, and she shamed this other micro influencer for not helping her, which I found to be like an interesting move. She kind of was like, real man, Cobra Tate is helping me with my hashtag $ all cap sister, because he's a real man. And these micro, like the use of the word micro, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels... someone's mad, I don't know. She was like trying to bully him into helping her with her failing coin, like he had nothing to do with. Like, anyway, okay, so I can't say I blame him for trying to help her, but we'll get more into that later. So then Bree describes the relationship. She says that after she left Romania, she stayed in constant contact with Andrew, and they were in a committed relationship, and she had to be monogamous to him, but he did not have to be monogamous to her. But in exchange... it appears he would finance her lifestyle. And she appeared to have a nice, expensive lifestyle. She was, it seems like she was living in a real nice building, real nice apartment, and all that. And then she would fly back and forth to Romania because, again, he couldn't leave. So then they were apparently planning on having a house and a kids together and all kind of stuff and all that. And he ends up coming actually to the States in February. He gets permission, the travel restrictions get lifted on him. Okay, so she said before he came back, he had become mean and controlling. He began to isolate her. He demanded her social media passwords, required her to download and use a thorough GPS tracking app, and forbid her from going to any social events or gatherings with the opposite sex. I mean, it does sound kind of restrictive, but how nice a building you want to live in. It seems like that's kind of what it seems like to me. But nevertheless, she did continue to date him, and she says she loves him, and she would fly back and forth, like I said. So a month and a half after the content trip, Andrew Tate goes back on house arrest, so he can't leave his house at all. So now when she's visiting him at the compound, and they're all trapped. And she said she started to notice some red flags during their intimate encounters, where he seemingly could not complete his mission without calling her degrading names and saying hateful things to her. And then eventually she says that these degrading, hateful names And verbal words ended up eventually turning into violent physical violence. And so, you know, it escalated into physical violence. But nevertheless, she did stay with him and she did love him. And she, you know, just thought maybe he had a strange fetish or something. And I guess it seems like she was putting up with it for a while. But she says that all came to a screeching halt whenever the greatest event of all happened. And that was the one at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And she says that basically, you know, a consensual encounter had begun and he began to become very physically, you know, violent or whatever. And she was begging and pleading and crying to stop. He would not stop until he, you know, completed his mission. He completes the mission and goes to sleep. That's what she said. And then she goes straight into the bathroom straight away to take some pictures. And we do see these pictures eventually. In the lawsuit, they come up. Some of the other stuff that she shows in the lawsuit are text messages that do purport to show Andrew Tate saying, "You need to be hit. Why wouldn't I be able to hit you? You are my property. I really love hitting you. It's relaxing. It's good for me." She also says that at one point she was required to make a video denouncing herself as a victim because the Romanian authorities would put her on the list of victims. So she had to specifically make a video and he would instruct her to say nice things about him. And she said she would say it. So it's like, all right, well, she went along with all of that. Like knowing that somebody was trying to keep her from being a victim. She's like, all right, I'll make a video lying. The way she described it is before she could visit him on house arrest, certain like things had to be made sure of. Like, for example, that she's not a victim of trafficking there against her will. I think probably what it was actually required. And is it necessarily bad that he wanted to have that, like, given the circumstances of everything going on? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he has not been convicted of anything. And I'm going to treat him as innocent until he's proven guilty. But like, there's certainly behaviors and things he's said that's like,
but so, like,
I don't know, you know. Also, she's claiming he threatened her that if you ever betray me, you will regret it or whatever. I will unalive you or whatever. So then you have the aftermath of the whole incident. Bree says she sought medical attention and was diagnosed with post-concussion disorder after the whole ordeal. But Andrew Tate points out that this was like 4 days after the incident. So like it would be a pretty serious concussion, which I think her side would argue that would be, yeah, it was so serious it still was diagnosed. He says it's basically like she's basically got a tummy ache and went to the ER. You know, they just disagree. So, but she does have this paper. So that was March 11th that the alleged incident happens. Then March 13th, she posts these pictures right here. So like 2 days later, which those pictures could have been taken anytime. But it's like a Fashion Nova ad. Fashion Nova.
Those are the ones I was giving AI.
So maybe it's AI. I mean, the bruising was definitely like didn't look bad enough that she couldn't have covered it. And like, you know, with some spray tan and some makeup, you know, not to make light of it. I'm just saying these pictures could be from then. And then 2 days later, she goes to the hospital, gets this diagnosis or urgent care. I don't even think it was the hospital. And then a few days later, somebody sees Andrew Tate in New York. And Bree assumes that this is like a stalking incident. Like, he must have been there to see her. So then he leaves at some point to go back to Romania to deal with his criminal charges. And it's March 22nd, the news reports that they left. And then she filed a police report with the Beverly Hills Police Department, but only after Tate left the U.S. And then March 27th, about, 5 days later, the lawsuit was filed. At that point, Tony Busby and Bree post on their social medias, and so does Woah Vicky, but we'll get to that in a minute. So sometime after March 27th, I just want to point out, Bree changed her Twitter banner. The one on the left is the before banner, and the one on the right is the current. You see what it is? Okay. So then there's public statements that have been involved, with this thing. So I want to get a little bit into people's sides. The parties involved all have made public statements on the issue, including the lawyers. And, Tony Busby, if he has a chance to get in the ring, he's coming out. It's going to be a triple post. It's going to be in the media. It's going to be on the Insta, and it's going to be on Twitter. He's doing them all. So the same day the lawsuit was filed, but this is before the public actually could even see the documents. Like, I was refreshing the page all day. I paid dollars after dollars to keep running the name search and finally showed up. But before it actually hit the docket for the public to view, there were news reports that a lawsuit had been filed and that Tony Busby was the lawyer. So the way I found out about it was Busby's Instagram. And he announced the lawsuit on Instagram. He said he was so proud of Bree for her courage and her bravery, and he was proud to represent her. And then there's this picture of Andrew Tate kissing Bree. It is. Look, I mean,
no, I'm looking at it. That's all I was like.
Remedied the house, bust down. So many people recognize Busby because of his recent representation of the many Diddy accusers, including the Jane Doe who had sued Jay-Z alongside Diddy. That was her lawyer, Busby. Well, that case has been dropped by the Jane Doe. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of circus going on over there. But it was after she faced intense public scrutiny because the aspects of her story did not appear to line up. There were no witnesses, et cetera, et cetera. But she was first picked apart on NBC by Chloe Mayloss, who not only scored the exclusive interview, but somehow was able to verify that that was, in fact, Jane Doe. How would she be able to do that? You know, she got the exclusive interview, elevating her public profile, her, career profile. But this Jane Doe just really gets picked apart, ate apart, just torn apart after this. So remember, that Jay-Z saga all first started. Why? Because Tony Busby had sent him a demand letter to do a settlement. Let's do a settlement before we have to sue you, because we don't want to do a public trial. And now Jay-Z has actually sued that lawyer, Tony Busby, for extortion. There's an extortion trial going on now. Busby says that's not extortion, that's typical behaviors. But this is Tony Busby, this who's representing Bree. He's like kind of publicly known for being someone who tries to get the settlement before he sues and then making a huge media splash.
The A-list celebrities linked to Diddy and his alleged sexual assaults are trying to keep their identities private. That's according to Houston attorney Tony Busby. He says he's already privately settled some of the accused. That's after his firm sent out demand letters.
That's what I've seen. He also was recently denied admission to practice in the Southern District of New York for some type of lawyerly misconduct in a separate case. Now this, he and his co-counsel are both seemingly facing discipline up to a sanctions hearing, and I believe perhaps some grievance committee involvement has happened already. Then back in October, the news reported that Busby had indeed settled with multiple celebrities on behalf of his Diddy accuser clients. So he has a history of publicly settling with high-profile celebrities. So with all that going on, it's easy to forget that Busby was also the lawyer who filed and settled the Astroworld lawsuit. Remember with Travis Scott, and it was like a demon soul harvest ritual or whatever they were calling it, but like people died, who knows how many, they reported different numbers. But Busby was the lawyer that negotiated and announced the settlement for that down there in Houston. So he has a reputation. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just worth noting the financial implications and the other types of implications of the fact that Bree has chosen this Tony Busby lawyer with such a caliber and with such a reputation of these high profile and celebrity settlements. It does seem to be something he has admitted in court filings. It is normal and routine procedure to do these settlements before the lawsuits. So Busby wasn't the only one posting that day. Again, before Bree's lawsuit officially appeared on the public docket, her and Tony Busby already posted about it online. She herself posted this Twitter thread PR statement with evidence of what she claims are bruises and injuries from the alleged incident. And then there's more receipts in the Twitter thread after showing the previously, these text messages would have been private text messages if they are real. Now, Andrew Tate said they were fake. So I don't know. I have no idea if they're real or fake. I'm just looking at what she put in here. If it is real, if it's not, I do not know. But if they're real, she put them out. She shared them, and they were previously private, which that happens from time to time in litigation. But she's kind of laying it all out. So Bree said after she did all that, shared the screenshot, shared her side of the story, put the face, the video, she's crying, the whole thing. She's like, I will not be speaking publicly on my relationship with Andrew Tate. And it's like, well, girl, there's 18 tweets in this thread. Her medical record is in there. I mean, the whole thing. And so she's like, no, I'm not going to speak publicly no more. But she did speak publicly more because she went over into Instagram. She did that too. She posted over there. And it's like a real PR statement on Instagram. It's like 2 pages. And she's like, any media inquiries, any inquiries. But it's the same day, right? All of this before the lawsuit hits the public docket. She's like, okay, I'm done. I'm really done now for real. I'm really done now for real. All right, I'm done. No more public statements on Andrew Tate. No more public statements on my relationship. But despite this assurance, the very next day, Bree would publicly discuss the details of her relationship with Andrew Tate on NBC, and a now familiar character that we've come to know in the story, Chloe Mayloss. Chloe Mayloss is getting a deeper voice every time I hear her speak. We got to put hey, it's Chloe. We got to put one in here, Ethan, just for old time's sake. Hi, guys, it's Chloe.
I'm Chloe.
Anyway, so she's got the exclusive.
Andrew Tate and his brother had been
open with their views for over a decade on social media, but she says that she really didn't Google him before she flew to Romania to meet him, that she hadn't been following him on social media, and she really didn't know all that he was about, but that they were in a very loving relationships.
It's interesting because on that last Jane Doe, she all of a sudden developed for the first time ever that I've seen the ability to vet. The ability to vet a Jane Doe, to vet somebody. She vetted them so good, she somehow found out who it was behind the scenes. This Jane Doe really got picked apart by Chloe Malos and the rest of the public. And she should. You know, you shouldn't make false allegations. I don't want this to make it seem like I'm like, oh yeah, like make fake allegations. No, don't do that. But, you know, they have their sides of the story. Here's Chloe showing up. Now she seems to have forgotten her newly learned ability to vet a witness, to vet a victim, alleged victim, whatever you call it. She forgot that one now because she did not vet what I found later coming up. Like I said, Andrew Tate and his lawyer are both denying publicly all of these allegations, viciously, adamantly denying all of the allegations. They say they're looking forward to proving Bree's false, fake, lie claims false in court. That's what they're saying. But then Busby bounced back and he said, you know, he claps back any chance. He's coming. Busby said that's the exact type of ignorance he would expect out these people, filthy mouths or something. I mean, here's the quote right here. But time will tell on the lawsuit. Time will tell. We just have to see what evidence comes out, what doesn't, what settles, what don't. I mean, we don't know. I don't know. But there's some loose ends to this story. We definitely got to wrap up. There's definitely a whole, here comes Act 2. Remember dollar sign? I keep saying hashtag. Remember dollar sign sister? Yes. Dollar sign, all capital letter sister. That, it was failing. You know, she needed help to save it. That's why she went on this unpaid modeling gig. I mean, it is a trip to Romania, right? That's payment, kind of. I don't know how it works. I'm sure, you know, there's managers involved, as it were. But so, yeah, she has this failing crypto coin, and she claims this is the whole reason she agreed to go to the content trip in Romania in the first place. Almost immediately after the news of the allegations and the lawsuit drops, the value of the coin, $sister, goes up. And remember in that Twitter thread, she did say $sister. It was like, I gotta be honest, it did kind of make me feel a little bit like some type of way whenever I came across her $sister mentioned in the "My name is Bree Stern. I am a resident of California and I have been abused by Andrew," whatever. It was an interesting choice to me that she put her failing crypto coin sister in there. And then when Woah Vicky retweeted about it, which she's got her own section coming up, but when Woah Vicky tweeted about it, she tweeted something about a crypto or a meme or a new coin or a new this or that, a $justice for Bree. What? Hold on. And like, so these questions are already kind of in my mind as I'm just like learning about this story. And of course, the media hates Andrew Tate. Before I knew anything about Andrew Tate, I knew I better not like him. You know, like, I've seen some behaviors that I just don't like. I got to be honest. But it's like, I don't know if he's, you know, if that's the same, you know, him doing behaviors I don't like is exactly the same thing as him doing exactly what he's being accused of here. So I'm trying to figure it out. And sister's going up. It's going to the moon, sister, to the moon. It's apparently within like a day. Public reports were revealing that her previously failing coin, her token, had swelled by over 290% in the past 24 hours, reaching a market cap of $370,000, had 550 holders. Now, since we're in crypto land, that brings us to the daddy coin, $ all caps daddy. Remember, the content shoot only happened in the first place, requiring models to do a photo shoot at all, because Andrew Tate was having a photo shoot, and it was for the launch of his meme coin, daddy. So what even is that? Why do these meme and crypto coins keep coming up? Like, what does this have to do with all of this? What in this Hawk Tua just had a meme coin scheme scandal that the SEC is now not going to prosecute? Are they looking into Gary V? I'm just curious. How far now? He wanted to do a meme coin token drop launch. What is that? Y'all can't just like sign an autograph, a sticker, and there's only 50 and everybody got one or something? Like, you got to do all this meme coin drop, pull, bang, boink. I mean, like, seriously. It seems like I don't know enough about it to speak, you know, from an educated perspective. But anyway, so in the marketing leading up to this launch, Andrew Tate predictably used some inflammatory and controversial advertising, including this shocking video, which I probably cannot show all of, certainly cannot. But suffice it to say, it involved whipping a lady with a belt, and it was a viral one, and the lady might be making a reappearance, and he's got the belt, and they're doing a reunion. For the launch of the meme token coin, it wasn't like, oh, he had a scandal going on. No, it was like, daddy's home, and he's whacking with the belt, he's taking the belt off. It's too much, Andrew Tate and fam and co. Too much. Okay, so It's important though, y'all, like this was the content shoot. She was going there for daddy coin. That's what I understood the lawsuit to be saying. And she knew he was good at coin, but she wasn't watching the ads for it. Like he was like whipping a lady with a belt and throwing her all over the room in the advertisement. But she says no. Her and Busby have come out both and said, stop saying she should have known. He lied. He was nice to her. But even in her own lawsuit, she says he was mean and controlling and forced her to download an app and forced her to not go to parties with the opposite sex. And it's like, girl, when I look at the parties they throw in, like her ex-boyfriend, which we'll get to, they seem to have different words for model and party than what you might not think the word party could apply to something like this. But then it's like, well, I guess it's a party. It's a social event, technically. But people are literally, woo, I can't even say it. Anyway, so that ad aired before she went. Then there's this other daddy ad from August, a few weeks before the shoot, has 100 views. Andrew's like, beautiful women don't even know how much things cost anymore. You can be in Mykonos and go to a $10,000 dinner and they don't even know if it costs $10,000 or $200 because they don't even know. And they don't know how the man who made the money and how he's paying for it, and they don't care.
Beautiful women don't even know how much things cost. Take it from me. They'll be in Mykonos at dinner that costs $10,000 and they wouldn't even be able to tell you if it cost $10,000, $200. They don't know how the man who paid for it made the money and they don't care.
I was searching for the lie. Who knows? What do you mean? I don't give I don't care. What do you mean? Am I supposed? Like, that's the thing though. It's like, for me, I wouldn't care because it's like the people I'm around, like, I'm pretty sure it came from like that working a job or whatever. Like, what do you mean I don't even know? Like,
do I want to know?
I don't even want to carry money. I told somebody the other day, I wish I didn't have to carry money ever. So I could just always say, I don't have any money. Sorry. Not for nefarious purposes, but you know, like sometimes, you know, like especially I learned in India, they'll run up to you and people want to get money from you and stuff. And you're like, I don't have any money. And you can say it and you're telling the truth. And that's it. But then I'm like, Prem, give him some money. Anyway, beep. Okay, so all right. What actually ended up exactly happening with this daddy $ crypto meme? I don't know. I do not understand how it works. It feels very fake to me. It doesn't seem like a legitimate prospect in any of, it's too far removed. I don't get it. Okay. So I'm going to put some people in here who get it and know what's going on and kind of tell y'all, but there does seem to have been some controversy with the daddy coin beyond the Transylvanian villa.
Oh, dude, Andrew Tate's crypto grift. That sounds very interesting and I want to watch it. I had a note. So Andrew Tate, obviously because I follow Andrew Tate religiously and I hang on his every word. I saw that he was tweeting about that he's pumping a new shitcoin that all of his, daddy. Somehow he's also watching as he gambles and then he plays daddy coin and you can go to daddiesuniversity.com to get rich. I mean, it's just a brilliant idea. Anyway, as I recall, you can go back even just 1 year and Andrew Tate was saying, I do not endorse shitcoins. I'm not a scammer like every other influencer. I don't need to rob my fans. I don't have anything to do with crypto. Bro, what is with the hypocrisy? That's, how could you, how do you square that circle if you're an Andrew Tate fan? That's what I don't understand. How do you, like when you see that first post, when you see his post, you're all like, yeah, dude. Yeah, he's different. And you like ride or die and you like shit on other people because of it. And then he does this and you have to, how do you cognitive dissonance that?
Imagine you get 10, 15 models international, fly them in from all over, staying them in a luxury hotel, not paying them, according to Bree. And then you get in the van, the driver, driving them over there. Then you got the luxury car you driving, the one special, you picking her up, and you doing all of this. And all of that is for this 3-minute renting, or maybe they own it, a Transylvanian castle villa. This thing is huge. It's a castle, and maybe it's not the one he's walking up to it. Maybe I'm just assuming this is this is the location because she said it was for that. So I'm assuming if it's in that video, that's that castle. It looks cool. It looks fun. It looks dangerous. It looks like one of those guys at the poker table isn't somebody I would ever want to cross. Oh no. Namaste, well wishes, shanti shanti, and all of that. No, salam alaikum, everything, all of it, because they look scary and I wouldn't want to be 3 hours from civilization in this castle with nobody, okay? No. Transylvania, where they got vampires that drinks blood. Y'all are wild going out there for no money. Woo, girl. What's really going on with the crypto? This is why I can't get involved. It seems sketchy, kind of. Like he's putting the crypto in the bag. Like, girl, I don't know. Okay, anyway, so beautiful women don't know how much stuff costs. Kind of true, kind of passes checks. He's talking about you will make money. Okay, so fine, whatever. Daddy coin, daddy token. allegations, who knows? I don't know. But that brings me to looking at this girl, Bree Stern. Who is she? Why is she so special as to get hand selected by the likes of Andrew Tate to be a special Ferrari girlfriend that day or whatever? You know, I mean, I don't know. So I'm looking into her. In the lawsuit, Tony Busby describes Brianna as a young woman building an already successful modeling career. And her career was unfortunately what also made her a target of Andrew Tate. Now, that's what they allege. But as it turns out, Andrew Tate isn't the only tumultuous public relationship resulting in serious legal allegations that Bree has had. It's actually not even the first one this year. So earlier this year, January 2025, while she was still dating Andrew Tate earlier this year, like 2-3 months ago, Bree filed to get a restraining order in Los Angeles against her ex-boyfriend, Ryan. So in the filings, she accuses Ryan of harassing her and sending his social media followers to harass her also. So he's like some type of social media guy. She includes Andrew Tate in the temporary restraining order request as a protected person. And she's like, my ex-boyfriend is messing with my new boyfriend and they're very, very high profile and I need a restraining order because of social media posts. So shortly after she filed for the temporary restraining order, she hired a lawyer. And then shortly after that, the lawyer then filed to dismiss the temporary restraining order. So her own lawyer. So she hires a lawyer, the lawyer comes on, and then the lawyer makes a filing and says, dismiss the case that my client filed. So the hearing date rolls around anyway, and nobody ends up showing up and the case is dismissed. And they do this, they keep the hearing date on calendar until the parties can come and they can make an order. Because, you know, things change. Things get tumultuous. They get, you know, whatever. Okay, so the case is dismissed against this Ryan, this ex-boyfriend. But again, y'all, this is this year. She just tried to get this temporary restraining order and then she dropped it on her own. So who is this ex, this allegedly harassing ex? This is where the story gets even more curious. I could take a whole video on this guy. I had to cut so much stuff out about him. Let's just say this guy is no angel himself. His name is Ryan Pownall, and he is a corn podcaster who swears he doesn't do but his whole podcast is that. And he runs a podcast called Pillow Talk.
So wait, what is it that you actually are doing?
Okay, so
because I know you do the podcast and you have the conversations, great, right?
Yeah.
But what are you doing? Like, what's the other business outside of that?
So the podcast is the main thing, Pillow Talk, and then, like I said, we do they fuck on it every now and so often, and that's when we get a little freaky deaky. So you know,
so Pillow Talk is some OnlyFans thing.
No, well, it's supposed to just be a podcast, but I like to keep pushing it. So recently, we had a girl in a wheelchair who's paralyzed. It's down. And we had the grandpa, Dan Daniels, come back on and fuck her paralyzed body.
What?
Yeah,
bro, that's crazy.
And that's one where I looked at Terry and I was like, man, are we going too far, bro? You want to see?
No.
It's sponsored by Mate, which he thanked 2 months ago by saying they were the reason he has any money in the world for his podcast.
Our Mate, our number one partners and family, the reason we have any money in the world, they're here.
So that's interesting. But like this, just so you know, the Andrew Tate criminal allegations have to do with webcam business, where he's allegedly, according to the Romanian officials' allegations, is Andrew Tate is allegedly forcing women to do webcam work and taking the money from them. So like a form of trafficking or whatever. So this Ryan Pownall guy, his podcast, Pillow Talk, is sponsored by Mate, which is one of those live cam. Could it be a competitor? Could it be somebody that, you know, Andrew Tate has worked with or not? I mean, how many live cam players are there in the game? Maybe a lot. Maybe that's the deeper story here. But it's just interesting to me how like this is Bree's ex-boyfriend and he's sponsored by a live chat cam thing. And the live chat cam thing is what Andrew Tate is being accused of for doing. And you know, allegations are allegations, but if he really did do any of that stuff they're alleging, I mean, it's kind of bad, but we have to see. It seems like whenever Bree was dating this guy, she really did like him, and it does seem like she was affectionate toward him and really appreciated him as like a boyfriend. I think she like really did see him as that. And Importantly as well, Bree was not doing OF when she started dating this guy. And even when she started doing OF, she wasn't doing full nudity. She was not even showing stuff. So it was like, she's really not a corn actress from what I could tell. She really is just a model. And, you know, she goes on these trips and does modeling on what's going on over there in the Transylvanian villa. But it seemed like really, it was when she started dating this Ryan guy is when she started really kind of getting nudged in that direction. And maybe she chose to go in that direction for sure. Like, whatever. It just does seem to have coincidentally incited at the same time. There's actually an episode of them together on the podcast Pillow Talk about 2 years ago, and you can tell she's really not that into the corn stuff at all. There are very many very super uncomfortable, cringy moments because they're like interviewing this adult film star, and this one is like been in the business a very long time. It truly made me feel like kind of sick, like even watching the interview. And like the guy, like I don't even think I could put it in here, but Ryan like turns to Bree, who they're dating at the time, and he's like, have you ever done, and then insert very extreme and explicit sexual act, and she's like, ew. No, what? I wouldn't even know how that would even.
No.
Baby, have you ever done trip?
Babe. No offense, but I don't know how that would work for me.
How does that work? That's crazy.
But it was just, listen, like I said, he has his moments, okay? He also publicly encouraged her to start the OF and even encouraged his own friends to subscribe, even though they were saying they didn't want to. Here's the clip of that.
But you're my friend, so I don't look at it. Don't get weird. It's okay.
You know what? Sub to her OnlyFans. It's lovely.
Yeah. Okay. I would.
Yeah. At Baby Bree. You know, I get. I get
do well on there.
Yeah, she just started 3 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I convinced
her.
How
is that?
And then here's a picture from the Pillow Talk podcast from April 2023. He's showing his girlfriend off, advertising that she just dropped her OF. So that is Bree's ex, if you're wondering. He's also known for his famous mansion parties, and I can't even show you much of the footage from those without violating 15 terms and conditions and probably some laws in some countries even. I mean, really, y'all, they have substances, they have things going on out there. But again,
Now this is what makes the party so pretty. The Pillow Talk lettering. Again, the gay guys did this. Gay people so good at decorating. Brother of my favorite artist in the 90s. Beautiful soul, Jesse McCartney, Google it. Legend. And you guys are giving out and weed, right?
Yes, we are. We got whatever you guys want, we got it.
You guys are adorable.
Thank you so much.
I just want to squish you.
nobody, is guilty of anything till proven in court and stuff. But suffice it to say, these parties seem to be parties, where they all do stuff. They're stocked with alcohol and various substances sponsored by alcoholic beverage companies, including Happy Dad, which... Isn't that like a YouTuber beer brand, Happy Dad? So they sponsored it. Also Cocoa Vodka. But I think Ryan himself, the Pillow Talk guy, is a 1% owner of the Cocoa Vodka. And it was sponsoring his party. So not only are the mansion parties popping with alcohol and substances, but they're also popping with famous people. Like he name drops Snoop Dogg and Trey Songz at the beginning of this video right here. I mean, I don't know if they really came or not. I didn't see them there, but he did say their names.
Pillow Talk party in the Hollywood Hills. It's the biggest party of the year of the decade. We closed the list. We got a call. Snoop Dogg wants to come. All right, we added him. Trey Songz wants to come. You fucking bet, baby.
Amber Rose is pictured here at the mansion at the Pillow Talk party published 4 months ago. Another frequent guest of these parties is Adam, 22, Grand Mason, 16, and his wife Lena the Plug. They go and are featured on camera.
Lena said, I'm waiting for Adam 22 to get here. So I want to...
No, I never said that. I'm gonna try to him in the room.
Yeah, you did, Selena.
You ate my...
And some crazy stuff happens at these parties. There's this one corn girl who said she had such an extreme experience that at the corn convention a few months later or whatever, she still hadn't been able to engage in any activities with her lower, downstairs genitals, because with her lower parts, she could only do stuff with her mouth because she was still recovering from the Halloween party that was at Ryan Pillow Talk mansion party.
Your was damaged by whomst.
It was because of your at your birthday party.
Halloween party.
So what happened there? And the titles of these videos are things like such and such gets brutal verb in front of 500 people. Stuff like that's the title. So YouTube videos. This video's on YouTube. Creators Inc. And then I'm getting demonetized. I can't even talk about it. Right. They demonetized me. Don't even get me started on what they listen. So anyway, yeah, those are the mansion parties. This is Bree's ex before Andrew Tate. This guy, Andrew Tate, they were trying to get a restraining order. So this guy couldn't talk about Andrew Tate. They have previous beef or whatever. I'm sure there's a bro code word for like what that is, what that relationship is between like two guys that are, it's probably really like degrading. There was some legal drama between Ryan and Andrew Tate. There's a clip right here of him talking about receiving multiple cease and desist from Andrew Tate.
Oh, Tate.
I would have thought it was Tate.
You think Tate would do that? Nah, Tate's my boy.
Tate's dating my ex, Bree.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tate's my boy. He wouldn't do it.
Like, I
He
feel
would
like
not. He don't give a like that.
They sent me a cease and desist 2 weeks ago, though.
For what?
For I made one silly joke about my ex dating Tate. And then I got a cease.
On the podcast?
And then there's Chloe Moan a lot is one of the names.
Wait, did you actually get a cease and desist, though?
Yeah, I'll show you.
What the?
For Mr. Tate and Mrs. Stern. So I'm not supposed
No,
to.
I got to see this.
Yeah,
shit.
swear to God.
There's no way.
Yeah, this douchey lawyer from Texas. Look at the terms on the second page. So one, they want me to delete all videos about them. 2.
Bush and Bush, Texas trial attorneys.
They wanted me to post a retraction video. I will on a hill before I apologize to Bree online.
Did you get the page back?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't have to say sorry.
21,000.
Wait, so it's just because you mentioned something?
Yeah.
What did you say specifically? Do you remember?
Yeah, I said, my ex is dating Andrew Tate, which is crazy because I took his advice to break up with her. Oh,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
But like I said, nobody showed up in court. Nothing ever really came from it. It's got dismissed. It's over, the end. Could be the end of the story. It is not. Would you believe me if I told you there is another ex-person? I don't know if a boyfriend exactly, but another ex-lover who also has been engaged and embroiled in some slander, allegations, fraud accusations in public. And it led to a lawsuit. There was also it looked to me like an astroturfing campaign involved, which maybe I'll do a surprise witness on like a body language analysis of that whole thing. But there's another ex-boyfriend. We're going to call this the ex-ex. Because now Andrew Tate's the ex. So yeah, the ex-ex-ex-boyfriend. Anyway, believe it or not, Andrew Tate and Ryan Paulnall are not the only people Bree Stern has made high-profile allegations against. There's this other ex, Louis Vanderwoodson. Just kidding, that's not his last name, but it's something like that. Boosin, Boyin, Booin. And in 2022 federal legal filings, the defendant is Bree Stern, a self-described actress and influencer living in California. So someone is suing her. This time, she's getting sued for a temporary restraining order. In California, this guy's in Pennsylvania, maybe it was in the Pennsylvania jurisdiction. Restraining order against Bree, this guy's trying to get, but it's in federal court. There's also exhibits, including screenshots of an Instagram account that very much appears to be the same The Bree Stern. So for these public and fully disclosed reasons, I am assuming this is the same Bree Stern, but I guess there could be 2 Bree Sterns modeling and influencing in Los Angeles who both have The Bree Stern as their Instagram name. Could be. I don't know. I think it's the same one. So then who's suing her? This other ex. This guy, from all appearances, what he says is a golden boy. Seemingly a rich golden boy, too. From a very good and prominent family, and he plays golf in tournaments, and he's up for the Forbes 30 under 30 or something, and he's very handsome. And, importantly, he's in the U.S. on a student-athlete visa. So he's, a little bit conscious about not getting deported. He's on a student-athlete. He's like a University of New Mexico or something, golf team or whatever. This is 2022, so this was 3 years ago. But according to the lawsuit, Bree was working with a mutual acquaintance named Frankie Delgado to effectuate an extortion scheme of sorts. And that's why this guy, Louis Vanderwoodson, had to sue Bree. According to the lawsuit, Bree had an out-of-state modeling shoot during which Louis, this guy, stayed at her apartment one night to watch her dog. And then he's like, well, during this, she begged me to clean her dusty, crusted apartment. It was dusty, it was crusty. I had to clean it, but I said, yes, I'll do that. I'll happily do that. Now, Bree, she claims he offered to clean the apartment, but they both agree he was in the apartment alone and he did clean. And he says that he moved in order to clean. He moved a small black safe and he didn't open it or anything like that. And he didn't take anything out of it, and he put it right back. And he told Bree when it happened that it happened, and she was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. So time goes by, she comes back, he leaves, and she ends up then saying he stole money out the safe. She starts accusing him of stealing $20,000 cash, and then she accused him of stealing $40,000 cash and like $7,000 in some meme coin crypto something. I mean, this crypto coin crap keeps coming up. What is that all about?
I didn't realize any of this until after he had, I believe 100% with all of my heart, because he was the only person in my apartment that somehow, with his track record of being a con artist, he broke into my safe, stole my life savings basically, and that was in there in cash. And
how did you guys meet?
So I had a mutual friend who basically said, come to the Super Bowl with me and my friend. He vouched for him. He said he's a pro golfer. He's an investor. He's buying the suites. He will be driving us in his Porsche SUV. And I was like, whatever. It didn't end up happening. But at the time I had followed him because I said, who's the friend? I'd followed him because I thought we were going to the game and then unfollowed him. So due to me doing that, it made his messages show up in my regular folder on DMs, you know? So I actually saw his messages.
Okay.
So after that, he continued to message me and his infamous line was, be my date to the Forbes Gala. I don't know if you know about this, but with all the girls who he seeks out on Instagram, that's what he says. Be my date to a Forbes Gala.
So if this guy or any guy messages you saying, be my date to a Forbes Gala, be a little bit wary of that.
So yeah, she's accusing him of this stuff and he denies stealing anything from her. She starts saying that she has video of it, and on top of Bree herself accusing him, there's all these other people that this guy, Lewis, he alleges they're all conspiring. They're in a scheme. They're in a conspiracy scheme to frame him and lie about him and accuse him of something just to maybe extort him. So, and he's accusing Bree, the girl that's suing Andrew Tate right now. She's the one that was accused of this stuff in this lawsuit, from what I can tell. So on top of Bree sending texts demanding that he return her money in cash immediately, or else she was going to go to the authorities. She told him there was criminal complaints, multiple criminal complaints open on him, and she was working with the authorities. And the only way she's going to tell them to not do that is going to be because if he gives her money back. So at one point, Bree told him there was multiple criminal investigations open. He adamantly denies stealing from her. He's like, I just didn't want to get deported. Like I was up for Forbes 30 under 30. She's making all these allegations. She claimed that this Louis Delgado guy, he had a Ferrari that this Vander Woodson was trying to buy, and there was a mix up about buying the Ferrari, a bounce check, a cash check, a this, that, the other. But then from Vander Woodson's side of things, he's saying that Ferrari was doo-doo. That Ferrari was not working right. I had some issues with it or whatever, so I wasn't gonna buy it. I canceled that check. Hard to know. I don't know. But she had made up these like posters that were like advertising that he had done this stuff and accusing him of being a fraud and stealing and trying to steal a Ferrari and all this stuff. And he's like, I'm 25 years old or 22 years old. I'm trying to make an edge. It's my family's name. He's from a rich family that's very prominent in the golf world. And so he's like, I will pay you $30,000. I'll pay you anything you want to stop these people from deporting me. So that's his side of things. Well, there are text messages, which we will read. And, you know, it's going to make the video kind of long, but I just have to read these texts to y'all because it's so much of the context. So Frankie, this guy Frankie with the Ferrari and Bree, then they're doubling down, teaming up on Lewis, saying that he has to pay up $47,000 by that same day, or else they're gonna move forward with criminal charges. Not only that, also she was gonna post it all on social media for the world to see. So you could see the post she threatened to post. She sends these posts to him beforehand. She's like, you don't give me the money by tonight, within an hour. He's like, I'm in Australia or South Africa or wherever in the hell he's from. He's like, I'm in South Africa. I can get someone to drop it off to you at the Trader Joe's. I just like, please call off. It's like a whole drama. It's like it felt like a Dahlia and Dia with the police there and trying to convince them not to arrest. You know, it just felt like one of those stories. Just like so much chaos going on. And then Bree, she has also made videos describing this whole thing, calling him the LA swindler.
It's crazy. So he reached out to me about it. This whole thing has happened in the span of a little over a month. My life has been flipped upside down.
That's exactly what happened to me. It was like a month from hell.
Yeah. So I was kind of on the rebound. I was, you know, mentally like, oh, I'll give this like nerdy little looking guy a chance.
Right.
And
yeah.
Well, I'll go out on a limb here. And
he claims that she has a drug problem with and she claims she could do a hair test today. She's never done that one day in her life. it was just an interesting whole saga over there. I mean, they're gonna probably make a docuseries about it one day. It's gonna be a whole episode of it. So there's three different legal disputes now that we've seen this lady Bree Stern involved in. The first one we knew about was the Andrew Tate one, but then come to find out, all the way back in 2022, 3 years ago, she was being sued for extortion scheme. Actually, she was being sued for a temporary restraining order, but there was a lot of weird stuff that went on in even that lawsuit, that first one. It was like the lawyer was the lawyer until the lawsuit was filed, and then it was like the personal friend. I'm just the personal friend. That's how it happens to be a lawyer. There's a lawyer of record, but that lawyer of record, Matthew Fry, he never really participated in anything. And the lawyer friend was the one that kind of like helped with seemingly with the settlement, because the lawsuit ended up getting dropped. So he didn't sue her. His lawyer also withdrew from the case after making many arguments to his favor. It appeared that the client was trying to say that Bree all of a sudden wasn't asking for any money and she had a change of heart. But I think that was to create a paper trail to make it look like she didn't get paid because he didn't want to look guilty of something. Maybe that's why that lawyer withdrew. I don't know. Something feels a little strange about the whole situation. It definitely feels a little bit off. And it's, three different lawsuits we've seen. Two of them have already been settled. Seemingly, they got taken off calendar. And usually if something gets taken off calendar, it's for this, voluntary dismissal like that. It's usually because they've reached some type of agreement that they're going to, walk their separate ways. But usually that requires one party pay. I don't know. It could be just, I won't talk about you. You won't talk about me. I won't sue you. You won't sue me, which is something that does happen, an agreement not to sue. But it'll be very interesting to see not only how this lawsuit shakes out, but also how the lawsuit mirrors or reflects, if it does at all, any of the previous patterns that we've now been able to see. All that to say, that leaves us with some questions remaining. Like, for one, is this going to play out like the last the last high-profile case repped by Busby, where the circus of it all ends up clearing the name of the person getting sued, like in this case, namely Andrew Tate? Will it shape up like the previous cases that she was involved in, ending in some type of voluntary dismissal? Maybe it was a settlement. Is this woman a honey trap sent in by enemy operatives to gather intel or create circumstances giving rise to certain types of legal disputes? Is Andrew Tate the monster everybody appears to believe he is and wants us to think he is? Well, since nobody in the mainstream media has bothered to say much of the publicly available context that I just provided in this video about any of the parties involved, is it really safe to blindly rely on the narratives that we're presented by them every single day because they couldn't so much as search for a prior court case? I'm having to be the one on YouTube out here for AdSense pennies. No sponsors over here. Not sponsored by Happy Dad. The bigger question for me, just leaving away from this, is everything exactly as it seems? Or is there possibly more going on beneath the surface, more interests at play? It might be worth a refresher on the cross-section between the world's oldest profession, how those economic systems have operated historically, namely starting with a P, and how all that intersects with modern day cyber war and lawfare and using social media as a means to get to your enemies. This is the modern day battlefield. It may be worth reconsidering what we look at and define as modern day warfare, but that's all for another day. I can't let you go without giving you a little bit of an update on Woah Vicky. Woah Vicky enters the chat. I was not looking for her, but I did find her, and she came up more than once, more than twice. So for one, like I mentioned earlier, Vicky herself posted about this controversy on Twitter, advertised the meme coin, advertised the Tony Busby of it all. And she said, we got to help people that's being trafficked by these men. She also posted it to Instagram stories. And this is curious. It's a curious case indeed, because when I sent it to my friend, he tried to open it and it wouldn't open. She deleted it. Somebody deleted it. How far now? Is it brother, father, husband? I don't know. Is the person who has the password login to the Instagram the same as the Twitter? I don't know. But it got deleted from the stories, but it stayed up on Twitter. Then she completely wasn't looking for her at all. I was looking at a Creators Inc. because of their connection with Ryan Pownall. And here's Vicky just right here on a boat 2 days, 3 days ago. At the time I saw it, it was 1 day ago. It said 1 day ago. Here's Vicky on a boat. Found her, spotted. Don't know when it was taken. But she was also in the Creators Inc. house 92 weeks ago on stories.
Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss, for letting me stay in your house.
What do you think?
My boss. My rich boss.
What do you think, Vicky?
No, it's amazing. Thank you. Don't play with them. Don't play with Creators Inc.
And also, somebody reached out to me saying that Vicky also went on a 4-minute live stream on March 28th. This would have been the day after the lawsuit dropped. And she went on the live stream for 4 minutes. It's now deleted. And she was talking about Andrew Tate and saying, look, I'll put the picture up here, the DM, coming for her when he attacks women and trafficked them. But that too was reportedly deleted. Now, I don't know if all this is true. I just, this is the tip here. But there's more similarities to the Woah Vicky situation to discuss. Fashion Nova. Bye-bye, America.
Go.
How about guys? Are they Legos? This one, they Fashion Nova. American people, bye-bye.
Now, both Victoria Rose, Woah Vicky, and Bree are Fashion Nova ambassadors, with Bree posting her only Fashion Nova ad on her Fashion Nova stories about the exact same date as that original temporary restraining order request against Ryan. And it does remind me of Adam Grandmason doing a Fashion Nova ad recently. It was very awkward. It was very strange. It was very forced. It was very unnatural. And what was his name? Delgado, Freddie Delgado, or whatever his name was. I went to his Instagram. He is followed by Diddy. Diddy is one of his followers. And he was also double team, tag team texting that guy like, money today or else we're gonna blah blah deport you, whatever. Like the actual text messages, I know this video just got too long, but like they're so scary and aggressive. If I was that guy receiving the text messages, I would be shocked, scared. The Immobilium situation. This story right here, you see the sponsor of this event, she's on some type of red carpet. Babes in Toyland is something like more of a erotic type of NSFW nature. And they're at this red carpet. It's Babes in Toyland, and one of the sponsors from this 2022 event was Immobilium.io, which is owned by, co-founded by Nenad Matosevic, who is the foreign Serbian head of trade at the Danish embassy in Serbia. Remember him on the board? Meet the team. And another one of the co-founders is Alexander Sasha Paparik, who is the one that had Lima baptized to the Eastern Orthodox Church. My friend, whatever, and that's what she got so mad about, and saying that it was it was public. He had it publicly posted. So they own Immobilium, and Immobilium is somehow, I guess, sponsoring this event. Look, their name right there, Immobilium.io. That's their company. And it's just all webbing back on top of the web for me. You see what I mean? I didn't take screenshots of all of the text, but this is just a sampling. So the blue is him and the black is allegedly purportedly her. Again, we don't know if this is real or not. He could have faked these. They say he's a document forger, so who knows? But this is apparently how she talks to people. Police report has been filed. I have a meeting with the detective on Monday. I will cancel the meeting and retract the statement if you bring back the $30,000 in cash today. What? Who? What? You took $40K from my safe and $7,500 in fake Axia investments, but I am willing to work with you if you. Why'd she say fake? Then that means they're not worth nothing, right? I'm willing to work with you if you bring back $30,000 today, and she means cash, and I will drop everything. Otherwise, I'm prepared to see this through to the end. He said, what's your Zelle? She sends it. And she's like, okay, but there's a limit on Zelle. And he's like, I'm not in Los Angeles. Also, I'm going to make traceable transactions for my legal purposes. I am a private client. I can do $7,500 a day, meaning that his limit at the bank is to do $7,500 a day, and he wants it to be traceable for legal reasons. She said, that's not how it works. That's not how this works. If you don't give me my cash by today like agreed, then I'll just let the police handle it. If you're not here, figure it out. You missed the 3 p.m. deadline today, so I'm giving you one more chance. She's giving him a chance. This is pretty cutthroat, right? The money better start. That's what it felt like to me. Doesn't this give that Woah Vicky twinge of do you think I am playing with you? Why would I be playing? This is my money. This is how I make my money. Yeah. The money better start appearing in my account today, she said. And then he sent her $5,000 and a receipt. She said, go into your account and screen record it. Since you are so good at making fake documents, I received nothing because the date on both of those documents says April 18th and today is the 16th. So he did say he probably wasn't going to have it in his account until 2 days. So it does say on here, send on April 18th, 2022. She said, I'm not letting this go until you actually return $30K of my money to me and it is in my hands or my bank account. And that is a fact. I don't IDK how much clearer I can be so you can get it through your tiny little brain. But my meeting with the detective is Monday and I'm not moving it unless I have $30,000 in my possession. Up to you. My lawyer just confirmed we have a meeting with the prosecuting attorney on Monday. It's done. It's over. I'm not going to say on camera. I'll tell you off camera who this also makes me think of, who's very good at sending texts that sound like this. It's done. It's over. But this is where my red flag started to go off. So, like, let's live in the universe for a second. These are authentic texts, and Brie really said this. If she had a lawyer, the lawyer would be sending these texts. My lawyer just confirmed, we have a meeting with the prosecuting attorney on Monday. It's done. It's over. On Monday is a lot of time. Okay, girl, nobody thinks it's done. It's over. If you can move $30K cash in a day, nothing's done and nothing's over if it hasn't happened yet. Okay. Monday, it's like too far. It's like kind of amateurish. It is aggressive, but that makes me wonder, is he just already so heightened? Do they have a tape of him doing something weird at the Super Bowl box? I don't know what's going on here, but it's just like, why are you doing these weird texts if you have a lawyer who's going to meet with you? Maybe not. I mean, we have to pay. I wouldn't pay a lawyer to text this guy. Maybe I would say my lawyer confirmed. But this whole prosecuting attorney on Monday, it's done, it's over. I would be like, you better give my money before Monday because Monday is happening. She's like, no, it's already happened. It's Monday. It's going to happen Monday, but it's already over. Like, it doesn't give anybody time to get the money. But whatever. I mean, I don't interact with people who act like this, behave like this. I've never been in this position. I wish a bitch would. Because we were live streaming these text messages live. But again, who knows if it's real? He's saying it is. He says, okay, do you want me to stop the money I sent or continue to do so? Then he says, Brie, I have been asked to leave the country. Please stop. I will do whatever you want. So he's like, kind of like, in distress. I have nothing in South Africa. I will never be able to come back. I will never be able to do anything I've wanted. Please just stop. I didn't take your stuff, but I'll give you money. Just stop. I don't want to be sent back. I don't know who you spoke to or what you did, but I have been asked to leave without force. Please, Brie, just have them pull it back. Please, Brie, please. I wonder if he was staying in her apartment at this time. Can I get someone to bring you it? No, he said he wasn't in Los Angeles, but he wasn't necessarily in South Africa either. And he says, can I get someone to bring you cash? She said, I will postpone the detective one day. If you bring me the full $47,500 you stole from me, it keeps going up. Cash, noon, today. And it's got periods between each thing, like a gangster. If not, I speak to detective as they are requesting and I post all over social media. I'm done. Last chance. This sounds so familiar to texts I've seen from a certain somebody I won't name. This guy says, Brie, I didn't effing steal your money. And now I'm being deported. I'm going to have someone I know bring in LA some cash. What time are you at home? Please just tell whoever you told to hold off. Brie, please, this is everything I've worked hard for in my entire life. And she says, I'm here till 11:45. Let me know when you're on your way. He's like, I'm not in Trader Joe's. Cash. What is this? I'm not in LA. I have to get someone to do it for me. Please tell the Department of State to hold off. This is drama. This is the girl suing Andrew Tate. Tell the Department of State to hold off on deporting me. Brie, they want me to leave the country. Please just hold off. He said, what time will your person be here to? She said, what time will your person be here to return my money? He's like, I didn't steal your money. I don't even know your safe code, but being deported is the worst thing that could happen to me. I would pay anything to have that stopped. Please. Ooh, that's bad. You don't put that in writing. You would pay anything to have something stopped? No, nothing I have that I would pay to have stopped. Stop it, baby. You don't use code word to break in. So he broke in. So yeah, anyway, I think that pretty much gives you a little of the gist. My attorney advised that you can't sue for defamation if you don't make Yeah, so he's saying, I've had my lawyer step in, I think. I'm going to see if I can get this sorted. I didn't break into your stuff. I know you don't have anything on camera because I know I didn't do it. But I'll pay if you just stop the Department of State to stop the deporting process. Please, Bree. My attorney, she says, also advised you can't sue for defamation if the statements I am making are true and have proof, which I do. You chose a good time to come clean because me, Frankie, and a couple others that you scammed who have proof, we're all planning to post you on social media today, along with our proof, your fraudulent documents, etc. There's no seeing if you can get it done. You will be getting it done. My money will be back to me before noon today. He said, Bree, I know for a fact I didn't take your stuff, but I will make sure you have money and I will have it all in your account if you can just hold off on the deporting, please. You will have money today. Not in my account. She said, not in my account. Cash today by noon. Like, this is getting so much more and more aggressive. But she is negotiating too at the same time because she comes off of it and changes the, okay, fine, I'll do it one day, but only if you have cash noon today. Like, she's not, yeah.
It's not really.
She's extorting a little bit to me. It's mean-hearted. That's what I'm wondering. And it's like whoever is typing these text messages is clearly comfortable saying stuff like this and knows that this guy has access to $30,000 in cash. Not everybody has access to $30,000 cash dollars. Actually, I'd venture to say not most people. He
probably has a lot of.
It could be that he was a target of an extortion scheme. But they did. I mean, it's convincing. They went on camera. She has her whole own version of things. I mean, it is diametrically opposed. It is exactly opposite from each other. She's never done it a day in her life. To him, he says she's addicted to it. You know, stuff like that. So it's like, who's lying? And they do have a whole group of people. It's 2 people sitting on the podcast and they're both like, yeah, he scammed me. It's scary. If you're not here, figure it out. He said, I'm figuring it out. Then she messages him, what time will you be here to return my money? He said, I got someone who can drop off $38K tomorrow after his work at 3:30 at Trader Joe's in cash. I'm not in LA. Like I said, that is the best I could do and the fastest too. Could you please just have the Department of State person you talk to hold off? She said, this is the last time I am going to discuss this with you. You have until 4 p.m. tomorrow to have $38K returned to me in cash. I will push my meeting with the detective to 4:30 p.m. If I don't have the money by 4, I will finalize the report. What does that even mean? And post you all over social media along with your photos and proof. He said, you will have the full amount of money by that time. And I also wonder, is it like some type of gambling debt situation type like stuff involved somehow in here too? Like, is there gambling? Like, I'm getting a gambling tingle. Like, I'm definitely extortionistic. And he is like golden boy. And it could be some level of like he called her out for doing, you know, pornographic pictures in the lawsuit. And it's like, I bet you there's some level of like, she can get just as close to these guys as she does. And she probably falls for some of them. He's not unattractive. She described him as nerdy. He's very attractive. He's a handsome young man. And he's got everything going for him. The family name, the money, the golf, all of it. And in secret and for alone time, he likes her. Obsessed with her probably. Walks her dog, cleans her apartment. But she'll never be Mrs. Vander Woodson. She knows it. He said in the lawsuit, one of the reasons they were incompatible is because he discovered pictures of her online that were pornographic, he said. And it's like, you know, that's not for me to judge whether he can make that decision or not, but it just probably ends up being the case. Like, Andrew Tate isn't going to wife her because he hired her to be a sexy hot model for a photo shoot. It does happen. But I wonder if like some level of this animosity isn't like just like she just has hatred, resentment about something. Also, I'm not above the idea this ain't her at all. Because, you know, one of the allegations of this fan cam business world is that they hire men and other people to write the messages for the people on Telegram and OF and all of that. And so if they're hiring these men to do that, why wouldn't they be hiring How Fun now to do this? You know, I mean, I don't know if this is even her. This could also be fake and doctored. But she is seemingly, according to what is presented here, blackmailing. I'm going to post this unless you give me money. And the way that it was so aggressive, noon, my hand, cash, now, today, all of that stuff really freaks me out. It makes me feel like it's possible that we're dealing with something a lot bigger and more sinister than a simple domestic dispute. And it makes me wonder, what are the allegations against Andrew Tate that people make that he always taunts and says, I don't watch him that much. I've seen him talk about this stuff before, and he says, where are the victims? Where is a single victim? Y'all brought up that belt tape. The so-called alleged victim came out and said she liked that. That's what we used to would do. She's into it. She came out and said it, defended him, said he was so nice and so great. He said, where's the victims? These people they saying are victims ain't victims. So where are they? Well, now we have one. Just in time, right before he boarded that plane. Is it possible, he's just into some freaky stuff, some types of things, and maybe she was too? I do not think that is what happened for sure. But I think with everything that I've just seen in these publicly filed documents, it's not adding up with how much they're pushing it. Like, what really happened? If I would have seen a bruise, if I would have seen some fingerprint marks or something, I would have even. But it's like her face looks a little red, but I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be looking at with that thing. I'm not even sure how much of this girl's own life she's in charge of. Type of thing. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I really had for that one. Meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, media. Okay, bye.
BJ investigate, she gonna find the truth. She gonna crack the case, yeah. It's not a lie when it's paperwork. She will expose the truth. Daily updates for you. Better subscribe like I knew you would. We gotta stand for what's right. We gotta do for the good, yeah. I don't know what y'all have heard. That surprise witness got the word. We don't believe in Scientology. I do not need your mind control on me. We don't need your conservatorships, no. We doing right what's right for the kids. Whoa.
Y'all cannot control me. I control my own mind. You could've controlled me then. Still not in this lifetime. Can you send us down the pink angel from the heavens of truth? You don't want to debate with BJ. The studying law is what she do.